In this example, we make use of the method car at length, to uppercase, and substring. So let's run first the program and see what it is doing before we will show of the code. So let's say for example, I inputted Jose, Marie, and Chan. So I press now OK. Now it gives me a result J dot M dot then Chan. So what the program is actually doing is getting the initial of your names and leaving the last name as it is. So just creating an initials of all of the input. So what is the abbreviations of your first name and of your second name, but not of the last word or of the last name that you have inputted. So let's try again another input. Now this is just a two names, Jose, Mare. So if you would observe, I have J dot Mare, meaning it just convert now. It just get now the abbreviation of the first of your first name. Alright, so let us explain the code. So we have S string here, ST, and we get an input from the J option pane. Show input dialog with that of the label type your complete name. Then we initialize SR with a string empty string, and our first value of our SR is SR plus ST plus car at 0. So suppose our input is for example, we type Jose, Marie, Chan. So you have here, okay. So I inputted, so that's the output. So if you could still remember, we put now Jose, Marie, Chan. So in this case, this is our input and the expected output is Jose.Marie.Chan. So the value of our SR is ST at car at 0. So our car at 0 is J. So in other words, this will give us J. And on the next line, we have SR equals SR plus dot. And then, so whatever be our SR, and the value of our SR right after this line is J. Therefore, in this line, we have J dot. So that's the current value of our SR. Now, we evaluate now the code into int I equals 0. So, we initialize I as 0. And we evaluate now, we will check the character of our input. So meaning our the length of the evaluated value would only be the length of the string we inputted. So we have what is the length of our input anyway? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the space, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means the value of our st.length is 15. So st.length is 15. So remember, we have st.length is 15. Now, equals 15. So our value of I would travel from 0 to 14 because 15 is no longer a true condition. So our first value of I is 0. So st.car at I, so that means at car at location 0, and it evaluates now if it is a space. So our car at 0, so this is our 0. Is it a space? It's a false. So since it's already false, so we are no longer going to evaluate the rest of the command or the rest of the condition because we know that the behavior of the AND statement is that once there is a false statement or there is a false condition, then the rest of it, although even if you would have this is true, this is also true, still it will give us a false, or it will still give us the false result. So in other words, we're no longer going to evaluate the rest of the content. So we will proceed on incrementing the value of our I. So the last value of our I is 0. Now we will move to 1 because that would be 0 plus 1. So our next value of I is 1. Is 1 lesser than 15? It's true. This time, the value of our I is 1. So st dot car at 1. So what's the value of our car at 1? That is 10. That is still 0. And we evaluate if it's equal to space. And it is not. So that makes this condition a false statement. Therefore, we no longer, again, evaluate the rest of the condition because this is already false. Therefore, this statement will create now false because of the logical operator and. So let's proceed. So from 1, we proceed to 2 because 1 plus 1, that would become 2. So our next value of I is 2. So what is the value of st that car at 2? The car at 2 is, we have 0, 1, 2. That's s. Is s equal to space? No, it's not. So still, it's a false statement. Therefore, we will increment again our I by 1. So 2 plus 1, that will become our I to 3. So this is already 3. So it's 3. That's 3. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Is E equal to a space? No, it's not again. So this is a false statement. So since it's a false, we will increment again our I by 1. So from 3 plus 1, that will become 4. Now this time, let's evaluate. Is st that car at 4? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is it. This is the one that we are checking. Okay, so is st that car at I, which is 4, is equals to a space? It's true. Therefore, we will continue evaluating the rest. So we have, is st that car at plus 1 is not equal to space. So that's 4 plus 1, 5. That's we're referring to 5. Is it not equal to space? Another true statement again. And if I plus 1, that's 5, is lesser than that st dot length. So the value of our I plus 1, so we are now on 4. So is 4 lesser than 15? It's true again. In other words, here we will get the value of our s, and the value of our previous value of s is j. That's j dot, alright? And we will turn now st, we will add up, this is our current value of SR, and we will add up st that car at, that's the location of our, we're currently on 4th value. So 4 plus 1, and then that to uppercase. So we will convert now SM as uppercase if ever that we type it into a small letter. So that's uppercase. But remember that there is a space after the dot. So therefore, here's a space and then M. And this is now the value of our SR. Okay? Why is it M? Because we're currently on the location of 4 and we get the value, we get the character at location 4 plus 1, that means 5, and that is M. That's why we have here M. So we have J dot space M, and that's the current value of our SR. And then we add up again another value of our SR, which is SR plus, so this is the value of our SR. So you have SR, that's J dot M, that's the current value of our SR, and then we add up again here another dot and a space. Dot, then space. So that's now the value of our SR. Then we will move to the next line. We have our next value of I is 5. So is 5 lesser than 15? True again. So we have now st that car at 5. Is 5 equal to a space? No, it's false. So we'll proceed to the next one. We have 6. So this is our 6. Is 6 equals to space? No again. So we will proceed to 7. 7. R is 7. Is 7 equal to space? No again. Therefore, we'll proceed to the next one, which is E. Is E lesser than or equal to 7? No again. So we will proceed to the next one, which is now the, what is this? So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the 10th place. So we have now, is 10 equal to a space? Yes, it's equals to a space. Therefore, we're going to evaluate the next line of command. Is st.car at +1 is not equals to a space. So that means this one, the next value, meaning this is our 10, and 10 plus 1 refers to C. Is C equal to a space? Is not equal to a space? Yes, it is not equal to a space. Therefore, we evaluate if our 10 plus 1, that's 11. Is 11 lesser than 15? So also true. So this condition is true, and this condition also is true. In other words, we will add up now to our SR, and the last value of our SR is J dot space M dot then space. And now we will add up with our SR. So this is our SR. And then get the value of 10 plus 1. So this is our 10 plus 1, which is Chan. So this time we have Chan. That's, this is the first. The second value of our SR is J dot M dot. And then we are now going to call now the 10 plus 1, which is C, and then 2 uppercase, and then that's C. Next is, we will get SR, which is this one, plus that space. So we have S, J, M, and C, then that. So that's the value of our I when I is equals to 10. Alright. Next is, we now proceed to the next value of I, and the next value of I is 11. So we will now evaluate what's the 11th value. That would be this one. So is C equal to space? No again, so it's false. We'll proceed to 12. So is H equals to space? No again, so we'll proceed to A. Is A is equals to space? No again, so we'll proceed to N. Is N equal to a space? No again. But by the moment that we will reach to N, that's the time the I becomes already 14. And we will add up with 1, and that would become 15. Is 15 lesser than 15? So that would become false. In other words, we will exit from this condition. And we will now proceed to the line 22 downward. And our value of SR is J dot M dot C. We will try to see the result if it's correct. Let us skip this first. Let's comment this if we correctly trace the output. So I comment, though we're just going to display SR. Alright, we're just going to display SR, and we're not going to include this first. Alright, so let us see. And our input is Jose Marie Chan. So we have Jose Marie Chan. So we will see if our output will be J dot M dot C dot. So you can see we correctly trace the result to J dot M dot C dot. So that's the initial of our input value. the abbreviations of our inputted name. But the target here is we will just going to get the initial of the two string input out of the name that the user feed to the system. So we will continue with the code. So to remove the last that and to get the whole word of command, we are going to continue with the next for loop that we have. So in this example, in this part here, so we create another variable named last word and we initialize it with an empty string. So for int I equals st.length, so this time the st.length that we inputted still 15, so these are 15 characters, so that's still 15. So we started with 15 minus 1, so that's 14. So our initial value of I is 14. Is 14 greater than or equal to 0? True. And now we are going to get st.char at I. We're going to evaluate if st.char at I is a space. So we're on the 14th, and the 14th value is n. That's n. Okay. And then we check if n is a space. No, it's not. Therefore, we will proceed to the next one. And the next value of our I, by decrementing by 1, will be 14, from 14 to 13. So is 13 lesser than 0? It's true. So we proceed with this command, st.char at I, and char at I 13, it's A. Is it equal to a space? No, again. So we will move to 12. 12, and the character of 12 is H. So is H equal to a space? No, again. And 12, 13, 14, 13, H is 12, C is 11. So is 11 equal to a space? No, again. And then we know on the 10th character. So is 10 equal to a space? Yes, it's true. Therefore, since it is true, we will perform this command. 10 plus 2. So 10 plus 2, that's 11. Then 12. So we will get the value of H and the rest of H. That's why when we exited here, the value of our SR equals Han. So remember, we already get the C, and our last word is Han. Once they get now the value of Han, it will no longer continue doing the evaluation of this condition because of the break. So when the program encounter the space of the character at a location I, that means it will get the substring of I plus 1. So this is, for example, 10 plus 1 plus 2, 10, 11. So this will be the word that it will be get, and it will no longer continue evaluating the rest of the condition because of the break. So that means it will abandon already, or it will end already the action or the continuation of the condition performed on this code. So we will jump immediately on this part. So we have SR equals SL substring 0, SR dot length minus 2, but this minus 2 will get up to this one. So we have J dot M dot C. That's the only left for this SR. And then our last word is Han. Therefore, this one, this word plus this Han, okay, that's the value of the new SR. So when we run the program, if we will type the word Jose Marie Chan, there you have jm dot and perfectly get the result.